Ladies and gentlemen, it is myself and Mr. Q Storm. Sir, how are you?
Man, that movie popcorn. Go light on that stuff, man. Oh.
Hey, it's an expensive delicacy, a gourmet popcorn, though, right? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't cheap.
I'll just quote this. It make that thing go drip, drop sometimes. Woo!
I think you may have used that in the wrong way, but I get what you're saying. All right. Well, we are talking about some movies today. New movie this week. I have to remind myself we are in the throngs of the summer movie season. I don't know. It kind of doesn't feel like that to me.
It doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, we had some big movies. Obviously, we had Spider-Man. Homecoming came out. And now we are here at war for the Planet of the Apes. And you can hear a little kid. So I have a daycare. I operate a daycare when I'm not podcasting. So we got kids in the back getting whooped. That's what we do.
Wow. The black nursery, boy. I know all about that stuff.
The black children of the corn. That's the people under the stairs.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, stay focused. So, War for the Planet of the Apes. This is the third movie in the Planet of the Apes reboot. This would be, I think, the second reboot of this franchise. Or telling, we had one movie. Remember the movie with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah,
Tim Burton?
Of course I do.
Yeah, they lasted one movie, that franchise. Well, in the franchise, I guess it was just a one shot. Then they tried it again, and they were pretty successful. I mean, say what you will, the movies in this franchise have been, for the most part, loved and respected, and this is the third one. I enjoyed the first one for what it was, and then we did a whole thing about the second one. I remember talked about that. So here we are. Let's just get into our thoughts on this. I'll just say mine quickly, and then we'll go deeper. And this will be spoilers, so you're forewarned. I came into this movie. I don't know why I came into this movie. I know why. I came into it with high hopes and high expectations because I had seen or read reviews from other people about this, and they were heralding this movie like it was a good movie. Like this is the best one. And, the guy did a good job. And I want to say the director is Matt Reeves, who I really got my eye on because he's going to be directing the Batman movie next with Ben Affleck. So I was really like, okay, got my attention. Now, for those who remember Geeked Out show that we did when we talked about the last movie, I think the last one was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And I had
the last one was.
Or was
yeah,
that?
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. I had some issues, not with the production of the movie, which I think they do a fabulous job on the way it looks and special effects. I had issue with some of the characters get down, particularly Caesar. I thought that he was a little soft if he's supposed to be the leader of these apes, and they're in a war situation, they're battling, and people want to take him out. He seemed to he was in the first movie they show that he was a pet originally, so he had that sort of in his DNA. And so I kind of was thinking, I can see why he moves the way he does with his decision process, because deep down inside, he's still a pet. That's just what I was thinking. He was kind of soft shoeing a little bit. But I was like, okay, he's got 400 years of oppression.
Mike, you on your Umar right now.
Now, I'm starting off. This is a conspiracy, brother. So he has his 400 years of oppression he's trying to work through. So I get it. I understand it's not easy. But I thought that I think it's the Koba or Kuba, the one gorilla who was like, he was hardcore. He was on his Koba. Koba was on his Malcolm. Any means necessary. They done hit me, so I got hit them. And he was whooped, so he had a motivation for wanting to get revenge, which I understood actually. So anyway, I had some problems with that. So here we are. This is the war, and you look at the trailers, and I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. They got Woody Harrelson They're fighting the military, and I'm like, this is it. This is the grand showdown of everything that we've seen. Not so much. uh, the first half of the movie I kind of enjoyed. It was like a setup, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. It just starts out, and they're in the woods, and they're already ready to go, and soldiers are coming at them. I was kind of like, this is cool, but I noticed at the beginning when the military uh, invades his camp or tries to make a move on his camp, again, Caesar, he does something that doesn't make sense to me. He lets the soldiers who tried to kill him leave. And I was like, I think they said they killed like 63 people or something, or apes. I'm like, how you gonna let these four humans walk? I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I know it's hard. It's not hardcore to show them murder people because this movie is called War. They're at war. This movie has always been a battle, in my opinion, about the extinction of one of the two combatants in this situation, whether it's the humans or the apes. So how you turning blind eyes? I just didn't understand it. And then so he lets them go, and I'm like, I was in the theater. This is a sellout, but I didn't sell.
Damn.
Excuse me. But I was like, come on, man. And I'm like, they know where you live. How you gonna let them leave? That's like if this movie had been. Listen, let me give you paint a picture. If this was a hood movie or a mob movie, or even if it was just a regular military movie, if the enemy found your hidden fortress, they came in, they slaughtered your people, but they found out where you live and there were survivors, would you let the survivors go knowing they know where you live? That didn't make no sense to me. So I was
Well,
like, yeah, go ahead.
I'm not gonna. I'll let you finish, but I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily. But they were going to be moving where they couldn't be found, so I think that's why he was okay to let them go.
Oh yeah, they make mention that they want to move, but he also says we can't move right now. We got a lot of people, so we can't just we got to find a safe way that we can bring all these people to leave. But you letting these cats go right now, and they just moved on you. So I was like, okay, that don't make no sense. This cat, this ape, this monkey ass, this so his monkey ass is tripping. Like uh there's no strategic move in that. He trying to send a message. How you gonna send a message when they killers? They're ready to ride. So you ain't sending them no message. The only message you sending is they know where you at now. So I was like, okay. And so then, of course, them soldiers come back at night and they gonna ambush them. Now, what happens next? They, if I remember right, Caesar's wife and kid get murdered.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Now I was like,
we are spoiling now, right?
well, yeah, that's what I said. We're spoiling from the
Okay,
top.
all right.
Well, that's because of you. You did that. Like I was waiting for the apes and other people in his group to throw his ass out. It's like here you go again, soft shoeing, Caesar. You gonna get us blown away because you don't want to take it to Massa. I was like, what are you doing? So I can understand how is he a leader, and I'm trying to understand like what was his progression from the last movie. I assumed from the trailers and just my own common sense that he was a hardened, battle proven leader now. He wasn't second guessing his leadership and who he is in the grand scheme of everything. But here he is still like, want to give passes to the enemy. I didn't understand. I was like, this dude he's stupid. I was like, I'm like, he's the hero. So I don't know why they can't show him take out the opposition. And so I had a problem with that, man. And that kind of followed for me through the rest of the movie because, again, there's a scene where he decides that at this point he finally says, okay, I'm going to go take out the bad guys myself. Of course, they got to give him his crew of people that are going to go with him. This is a movie and a story, so you have to have those characters that will ride with you on your journey to get the bad guy. It's the same sort of plot you've seen in many movies before. They got to go to the bad guy's castle and take him out. Blah blah blah. But along the way, they show them that they come onto an encampment or something like that where they think that there's soldiers at, and they come across a human, a white guy. And I thought this was a cold scene because the human dude is kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna reach in my pocket or something and put something down. And the apes, they are the apes is loaded down. They on their Black Panthers, they on their black apes. They got their machine guns ready. And my man, oh, I'm gonna reach in my pocket. He tried to pull out his joint. They lit his ass up. I was like, yeah, this is dope. I was like, finally, these motherfuckers are soldiers. So they lit his ass up, and he went down. And I'm like, the thing is, and it's because maybe I'm a little older. I already know what they're gonna do. I remember seeing the trailer. I remember there was a little white girl in the trailer. I was like, okay.
Oh, why she gotta be a little white girl?
Well, no, she was in the trailer. She was
why
a
can't she
little
just
white
be
girl.
a little girl? Wow, you all on your politics, man.
I mean, hey, this movie is all in its politics. We'll get into that.
Well, you are right about that. I got a lot to say about that.
And I said, okay, I already know this is probably her dad or something. And sure enough, they find the little girl asleep, and they try to frame it where there's the one sort of Obi-Wan peacemaker monkey dude. What kind of monkey is that? The orange one. I forget.
I'd have to guess an orangutan.
Yeah, maybe he's right. He was on his every which way but loose monkey.
You tripped. Okay, man.
That's from your old, them old Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah.
Where he had, it was that every which way is loose. I think that's the name of the title. It was that. It was
right.
So, and he spoke with sign language, and so he basically trying to convince Caesar, man, you can't lead this little. I'll play rolling. I'll play rolling with you, Q.
Wow.
You can't leave this little girl here by herself. She'll starve. And I have to give him at this point. They had Caesar. He was on his heart. He's like, I don't give a about. First, that's what I was like. How is this character now? Now he's on some rah shit. Like, you don't give a. He was kind of like, and.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. He was.
Yeah, but he was kind of like he wasn't. He had to be sort of convinced to like, man, stop being an ass and let this girl come. I was like, hey, listen, if I would have wrote this, he would have been like, she is a casualty of war. Got it. Like, they're trying to kill us. He would have been on this Nat Turner, but of course he wasn't. So they had to bring the little girl with them. And, they kind of show, again, they try to show like Caesar had his water. They're riding the horses and Caesar's just like drinking his water. And the dude's like doing the sign, every which way but loose monkey is doing the sign language. She's thirsty. And Caesar's kind of like, yeah. I don't like, they going to have him give up. And I think it was later in the movie kind of like he's such a nice guy. He like, get on, give her the water bottle, Caesar. And I was like, it's very interesting because on one hand, it's the monkeys being sort of what you would have the humans sort of not really caring about the monkeys. So I was like, okay. But I was like, he is the hero of this movie. And it's okay for him to say F them to me. Like, I understand this is Hollywood and I understand what they're trying to, or at least what I think they're trying to do with the theme of this movie. But I was like, man, if this was any other situation, that motherfucker would have starved. Oh, well. But I think they did it on purpose to make it be a young white girl like that. Well, because there's no way in hell in these movies they would have her be in a dangerous situation, and it's to make him seem like he ain't that bad. I was like, yeah, okay, I get it.
You know that's a character from the original Planet of the Apes, right?
I heard somebody say that. I don't know too much about that. What's going on with that character?
In the original Planet of the very first film, when Charlton Heston allegedly lands on this planet of apes, there's a female who is a prisoner, but she's liked by the apes, and that's Nova.
Oh, so that's supposed to be kind of her in a sense,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
couldn't talk either.
right.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I can kind of see what they're saying there. Okay,
I'm not saying that justifies it. Keep going. You keep going
right.
on.
So, so anyway, I'm not gonna do the whole movie, but um, it just gets to the point where, and then I'm gonna let you speak on this, but I would just say this movie, like the last movie, to me, it depends on the person who watches it and sort of what lens you are viewing this from. For me, as a 47-year-old black man, I can look at some of the stuff they're showing in there, and to me, it's like blatant, like they're trying to sort of give off this theme of, oh, these are blacks. The monkeys are kind of like the black people, being persecuted, and there's some overtones to like slavery. There's even to me some maybe some like Jewish Holocaust type stuff, and there's a scene in there where Caesar gets captured by the humans, and they sort of bring him to their concentration camp or their plantation, and they're forcing these monkeys to work. And if they literally have monkeys, other apes with whips,
Yep. Yep.
whipping the out of monkeys, and I swear they did a reenactment of that scene from Glory with Denzel Washington, where he's like, but they had his Caesar. I was like, come on, man, this is too. This I like this movie's crazy.
You ain't
It was,
lying. You ain't lied yet.
it was just like 12 years of slave monkey or something. Like I was like, damn. I was waiting. I was waiting for him to have a monkey bed winch, but that'd have been too much. That'd have been all enough.
I was waiting for Caesar to say, "Give us free."
And oh, and two, man, this is what was so funny to me. They literally had monkey coons, like
Oh,
sellout,
yeah.
sellout monkeys, man. These were, and so
Hey,
you
Mike,
see in the
what
trailer,
color
there's
was that monkey? What color was that monkey?
hysterical. You mean these light skinned?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's terrible. There was so here. Let me just a little setup. Now you may have seen in the trailer. There's this scene where the military guy soldier's shooting off his gun, and he has a gorilla reload his for him. So they have these apes, and it was really I think only the apes. They were apes, and they had on the back of these things they said donkey.
They called him Donkey.
They called them donkeys. That was basically the N word. It was just donkey. Get over here, donkey. They didn't say, hey, donkey. They was, get over here, donkey. It was donkey, please. If they had said that.
You know what animal? Hey, you know what animal represents the Democratic Party, right?
Hysterical.
I'm telling you, this movie is drenched in shit like that. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do your thing. So I listen. So they had these characters, man, and they set it up to say that these are the apes who were in line with Cuba or Koba, the ape from the last.
Right.
And they were saying like since he got killed, they were scared of what Caesar would do to them, so they all went and joined the other side and became basically sellouts, and coon apes basically. And they had one ape. He was a they called him what they call him Winter or something like that. They had a name.
The ape that went over to the other side, right?
Yeah, he was like his name was Winter.
Winter, yeah.
He was, I guess he was a tan ape, like a light skinned ape.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I mean, that ape does exist. I don't know the type of ape it is, but it is a real ape.
And he was on Caesar's side at first in the movie, but then he sells them out to the humans, and he joins the other side. Now, I thought it was some cold scene, though, when they snuck in and found his ass and ran up on him. I was like, hey, partner. And he was like, he was cool, cooning out. No, they made me. He got caught up, and the brothers caught him. And they was about to get in his ass. They did. And like Caesar was in there with a couple other dudes, and they was like, tell us where the such and such. Tell us where Master sleep. It's literally just pulled straight out of one of these tales. Tell us where the Master sleep at. Oh man, he gone. He gone. They went down sunset. Where? And then like there was some of the humans outside the little place where they cornered the coon ape, and he tried to scream out for him. This is one of the coldest parts in the movies. They jumped his ass, and Caesar had him his ass in a headlock and just choked him out to death. And I was like, that was some. But when I walk away from this movie though, I'm on my conspiracy, brother. It's interesting that they would show of all the people in the movie, Caesar could have killed, and you would have had rightful vengeance or justice. He never, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he never openly attacked those humans. But the one character they do show him attack is his own people, and actually kill. I thought that was kind of interesting because there's situations in this movie where he's supposed to take out the bad guy. This is what heroes do. But even at the very end, when confronts Woody Harrelson and he got the gun to blow his head off, what did he do? He went Black Panther on.
Okay, listen.
He didn't do it, and the cop out is they had Woody Harrelson kill himself. And I was like, God. When I was like, man, this is corny. How is he supposed to be the hero? He doesn't have to have no moral dilemma. He's rightful in his movements here, man. Like, why he gotta be all this? I was so frustrated. And this, I'll let Q tell me, but just the way it ends was corny to me. The whole like battle scene at the end was ridiculous. It wasn't the apes that was doing the battle. It's some whole other unexplained army that I was like, how do they had so many people in this other army. I was like, then what's the point of it being Planet of the Apes?
Right.
I was just like, out of here.
Check this out. Now check this shit out. You got a second conspiracy brother here. What did Woody Harrelson have the slave labor building?
Hilarious. A wall.
Right?
Wow.
He had the donkeys helping him build the wall. Check that out.
And I don't think that's a coincidence either. So I would just say this. I don't like Q because Q can go deeper. I was disappointed with this movie, man. To me, it's false advertising for one. There's no war in this movie.
There was more war and battle action and getting it in the last movie.
Yeah, and the first and the second one, there's memorable scenes. You know, I always remember that scene of the ape charging at the helicopter. I think that was in the first one on the bridge.
Right.
It was more classic stuff in those. This movie was not a war. I was just so disappointed. I was like, this is corny. I didn't like the ending, and I thought the overall character of Caesar, I didn't understand what was the point. I didn't see him change at all in this movie. He
made bad decisions. He was still a leader, but he made. Go ahead. I'll let you finish now.
Well, I agree. He made bad decisions. The whole situation to me, it didn't have to happen if he'd have chose to do the hard choices that leaders do. They weren't even hard choices. And he caused all this destruction and death because he's not dealing with these situations. And at the end, it didn't even have nothing to do. I mean, the humans fought the battle, and the gorillas and them, they just go out like a Jar Jar Binks or something. Like it just sort of happenstance be there and sort of goof off.
They were like just in the middle. They were caught in the middle of something.
Yeah. And lastly, let me say, last one, I trust you. That character with the vest.
To what?
With the vest.
Oh my God.
That was on some, and I love Kevin Hart, but that was on some buffoon, Jar Jar Binks. I didn't understand why they had that in there. I said, this character, he's a comedic goof off, which none of them other movies had that I remember. And I was like, what was the point of this guy? He's just bumbling around, doing stuff. Just took me out of the movie.
Where did that ape come from? He speaks almost better than Caesar does.
They try to say he was another one of these test subjects at a zoo or something.
Yeah, but how does Caesar? Where did he come from? How does Caesar? Why is he separate? Why is he isolated? Why isn't
Well,
he
I'm
with the
thinking
other apes?
maybe I, I couldn't remember was if he was at the same zoo that Caesar was or not. It didn't make any sense to me. Listen, I'm trying to understand like, and you're right. How was he smarter? It seemed like he was actually smarter than Caesar.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what does Caesar? I'm just trying to understand like he's supposed to be smart. But he's not doing anything started. He has no strategy. I was just trying to understand what was the point of Caesar? Just because he talks, that doesn't mean he should be a leader because he obviously has no skills to lead. He's not strategic. They weren't doing like badass stuff and setting up traps in the woods. I was trying to understand what does the Caesar character, what makes him special other than he can talk? Because he wasn't doing
I mean,
like
even
the
even
Ewoks is better.
I was
The
just gonna I
Ewoks,
was just gonna say that, Mike. I
my
was
bad.
just gonna say the Ewoks can hold off the Empire. I swear to God, I was just going to say that.
So that's my. And listen, I've said enough. Go ahead, man. What did you think
Okay,
about this?
let me just address some of the things you said. I don't necessarily fault Caesar for not killing the humans in cold blood. You raise a good point that he killed that ape, but I would say he just killed the ape because he didn't want the ape to scream out. But listen, I respect what you said. I can see that opinion. I thought it was stupid that he let the soldiers go back. If nothing else, you keep them as prisoners of war.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, whoever wrote the character of Caesar, we saw that happen in the last film where he kept saying, "Leave us alone." Leave Negro. They're not. I'm sorry. Should he say? They're not gonna leave you alone. Okay, I'm gonna get into some of the symbolism now. Now check this out. Now Caesar is the only until we meet this other guy, Bad Ape. Caesar is the only ape that can speak. All the other apes do sign language, right?
Right now, I just throw this in there. But did you catch they had the every which way but loose speak at the end all of a sudden?
They did, yeah.
I didn't understand. I was like, how did he learn to talk? The whole movie he couldn't talk, but now he knows how to talk. What changed?
I don't know. It's one of them Rocky moments. A hidden strength or something. I don't know. But Caesar is the only one that can speak English, and now you notice that Caesar was also the only one who the middle of his face was white.
Okay.
Did you notice that? Now I'm not saying anything.
Hilarious.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Conspiracy, brother.
All the other apes, they were like they had the complete black fur. They didn't have none of this day glow face in the center. None of that. And they couldn't talk. They just took orders. And they was see it's almost like it's almost more insulting because the allegory is there. But you got this white face, you got this whitewashed ape who's making these bad decisions, and the hood apes are telling us, fool, look, no, you can't leave. Just take us to the land. Come on, take us
Take us to promised land.
Yeah, why are you going back? You know, because I have to. Maybe I am like Koba. Well, and it's also interesting. Now, I didn't really like the character of Koba, and I know you did, right? I just thought Koba was like a plot device to kind of have an out for this conflict for Caesar, because Koba could upend the conflict. But I respect Koba's politics. I may not have followed him, but I respect his politics. And it's just funny how all the apes that were with Koba now are working for the man. You know what I'm saying? What are they trying to...
I hear you.
Okay, listen. Now, then for Caesar to say, I guess I am like Koba. Well, no, you're not. Well, it's a muddled message because all the Koba apes are following Woody Harrelson now. You want to go kill him, and then you don't kill him. Well, you get a chance. What was the point? Now, I could see someone saying that he took pity on Woody Harrelson because what was his? I don't even remember his name.
I don't either.
I'm just gonna call him Woody. He took pity on Woody because Woody succumbed to the virus, which was some bull. So you mean to tell me that he touches this doll because they made it clear that Woody Harrelson makes it clear in his monologue that he shot his own soldiers who he thought were infected, burned all their clothes, anything they came in contact with. And then he picks up this doll that Caesar had in the cage because Nova left it in the cage. And overnight, he's struck down by this virus. I just thought that was, why would you write that? As bad as the movie was to me, I did want to see some comeuppance. I wanted to see revenge. And we get to this anticlimactic scene where, okay, he's going to let Woody Harrelson go because he's suffering from the virus. Because I guess we're supposed to think, well, Caesar's compassionate. He's thinking, well, you're suffering more than I am pulling it. It makes you suffer more to suffer through your virus than for me to end your life. So then what does he do? He leaves the gun behind so he can shoot himself. What the what's the message? What are the writers? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna not kill him, at least say something like, "You live with that prison that you're in, your mental prison," or something like that. He leaves the gun behind so that Woody can kill himself. Now, on some more nitpicky stuff, what the kind of ground were they walking on where you could just reach your hands up and make a hole?
That didn't make any sense to me because I was like, wouldn't the whole foundation just fall? Like they just kept conveniently being able to punch these holes through the roof or whatever that thing were. I was like, doesn't make any sense.
And if you can do that, all these apes got to do is, I mean, there were hundreds of apes. It seemed like they would jump one time, and I know they didn't know. It seemed like their weight would have. I mean, all these dudes doing poking holes with their fingers. Like, how's this happening? What? That's concrete. That's earth. You know, how are you doing that? And then when the tunnel started flooding, what was the point of that? I don't remember there being any consequence of that, any jeopardy from that.
I don't either.
I mean, and the beginning of the movie, I thought I was going to be in for a ride because let me just say, I didn't really enjoy the first two movies at all. I kind of liked the second one because I liked seeing the apes interact with the humans, and they were getting it popping, right? So in the beginning of this one, I'm like, okay, all right, we got some military. These apes are a formidable foe. They shooting arrows. I'm like, okay, these soldiers got rifles, right? AR-15s or whatever. And I'm like, how the apes gonna stop them? They got these arrows that they had some for them soldiers' ass, right? So I'm like, okay, This is a war, and the apes won the first battle. That was the only war we saw.
And what happened to all that strategy later? I mean, to the rest of the movie, like.
Well, after that, that's when your boy Winter was like on his Steven. There were a lot of Stevens in this movie.
Yes, there were.
That was when Winter was like, look, we have to leave tonight. What was it? I think he made it clear that he was uncomfortable and he thought.
Yeah, he wanted to leave immediately.
Because one of the young monkeys sunned him and said, I know you're scared, but we gotta keep.
Oh, that's right. Because he said something to him, and Caesar kind of jumped up and was like, "Man, watch your tone." Like, that's my kid. Shut. He kind of said, like, he gave him a look, if I'm not mistaken, or something. And I was like, "Well, what is he? Why are you doing all that?" Like, he was always badass to the other apes, but he wasn't badass to these people. Like,
You're kind of right about that. Now, the other thing is, you brought it up. I thought it was so ridiculous. I mean, Mike, it was so ridiculous. I laughed in the theater when the stormtroopers. I mean, the soldiers dressed in white. They look like the stormtroopers in Hoth.
That was a cut scene from Attack of the Clones battle.
They come
Here come the clones.
They come in. Yay, yay! And then they see Caesar standing there, and they turn on him. They all get quiet, and the one dude raises his rifle. Then you start hearing this rumbling, and it's an avalanche. And then they start running the opposite direction. I literally laughed at that.
Now, let me say this. This is what I thought was going to happen at that point, because it seemed to me they didn't want to show you that there were people in there. I don't think you ever saw who those people or what they look like.
The guys in white?
The guys in white at first. Like,
right.
you couldn't really, and I was like, this could be a hell of a little thing they may throw in here. I thought when the camera sort of pans to show the front of them, as they're looking at Caesar,
Uh-huh.
I thought his reaction was like, "Oh, these are apes." Like I thought that was what was going to happen. I was like, "Oh, well, I was like, okay, the rest of the world is already sort of like the movies that we saw before, and the apes are really on some other like Caesar and them was on some low level. I thought they were about to be. These are the apes that got the helicopters and all this shit. But it
Oh
was
wow, you
that's what
thought
I
it was
thought.
that?
I was like, that would have been a head buster.
No, I
And I
never
was
thought
like,
that.
oh, but if because I'm trying because they didn't really show, and I'm looking at their standing up and stuff, and I was like, I was just thinking maybe it's just kind of poor CGI. Like they're gonna show that these are like even more evolved monkeys and stuff, but I guess it's to assume they're just humans from I don't know where the hell they're from.
Well,
But
Woody
yeah, that
Harrelson says that because he was willing to kill his people who even showed signs of the virus, that some of the these soldiers in white, they broke off from the pack and they became enemies. And I just thought
mm,
that's just some. Why do I want to hear? Why does that have to be the story? I want to see apes fighting humans.
that
And I suppose that means that at the end of this movie, we get to the point where maybe there's another 50 or 100 years. I guess all the humans are wiped out now. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why do they have an avalanche kill all of those guys in such a comical scene. And it was that just to get us to the point where the first original Planet of the Apes, because if you notice, because what's his name? Caesar dies. Okay, that's the ultimate spoiler.
right.
And his son Cornelius, I assume, will take over. And Cornelius is the guy who was the lead in the 1970s Planet of the Apes.
Right, right. Yeah, I was already checked out, man. I was just like, and oh, you're bleeding. Like you didn't notice he wasn't bleeding. I was like, come on. I was like, so he's just gonna die, and he just kind of sits there and then just falls over, and then there's like the sun shining, and I was like, man, just end the movie. So corny.
I was the
Yeah.
same way. I was like, because my son was sitting there about to fall asleep. This shit was boring, man. And I was like, is this over? Okay, he dead. Okay. All right, credits, please, credits. And I was like, should I wait to see if there's a post credit scene? That.
Hell no. Hell no.
I
Yeah.
mean, you had your white saviors, you had your blacks in whiteface in this movie. You had your, I think it was a reference to the Democratic Party versus the Republicans. Woody Harrelson was on his Trump.
Right.
At the end, he couldn't speak. He was incomprehensible.
Wow.
I just think the allegory was just so strong to the point it was almost crass. And this was a really cruel movie. I mean, even the Christian inferences with the stringing them up on a cross.
Yeah, that was pretty wild
Why
stuff,
would
man.
it? Why just? You know what, Mike? This movie didn't know what it wanted to be. There was a edit in this movie, a cut where we see Caesar struggling on the cross. I'm calling it the cross, on the X, whatever you call it. There was an X-Men, I guess. And then we cut, and we're meant to. He's suffering. It's clearly suffering. Then we cut to the minstrel monkey looking through the binoculars. Ooh, why so small? And then they turn it, and then the orangutan turns the binoculars around. Oh, I'm like, huh? Listen, y'all want me to cry or laugh? Make up your mind.
That's the title of this episode, a minstrel monkey. Oh man, yeah, this movie. I want someone to interview Matt Reeves, the director, because just explain it. Like, is this stuff would be too coincidental for it to just kind of be like this, or just to be like that? You had to be like trying to send. I don't know. You're right. I don't know what kind of message you were trying to send, but you're touching. It seems on all these different things, and it's almost so blatant. But it's just like it's not clever.
No,
You know,
you know what, Mike? You said it right there. None of it was clever. None of it was clever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was disguised as all those slow scenes where they don't cut away for like a full 10 seconds on a reaction shot. That's what makes people say, oh, it was epic. It took its time. It built to something. No, it was bad editing to make you think he had something to say. And
Yeah,
it was, at the end of the day, it was just monkeys fighting humans who were trying to build a wall against other humans.
yeah. He was trying to be deep, but that ain't your. What a LeVar Ball. Stay in your lane. Just do the action movie. Don't try to like solve the problems that ills the society. And let me throw in this part. Have them whip them. I'll have the donkeys whip the other ones, and stop it. Somebody in the production should have said, listen, just do the movie, man. Like, don't try to make. That's why I hope for like DC. If you're watching this movie, the guy, in terms of the way it looks in the production, it's fantastic. Like, I'm not mad at that. But
the monkeys looked real, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was fantastic. But don't have Batman. Don't try to play it like it's, some social justice warrior theme plot. Just stick with the subject matter. You're not smart enough to be trying to do all the, because you look crazy. And as I said, to me, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, really? They're donkeys of the day. And again, I was like, when they started whip, I kind of laughed at first when first time that one of them got whipped, because I was like, damn, I was like, y'all doing some slay. I was like, this is hilarious. Like, come on, man.
Like I said, it looked like I believe Matt Reeves found this old slavery script that was floating around Hollywood. Oh, let me get that. Let me get that. I got it. I got
hilarious.
you. I got you. Let me option that. I'm gonna make a monkey some Apes.
Wow. He found the old Roots unused script. It was like, Matt, we're shooting this thing in 3 weeks. How far are you on the script? And he's like, I'm under pressure. And he's looking on his desk and he saw the old slave movie ID he had. He's like, well, no one else read this one. Scrub this. War for the African nation.
Shaka Zulu reboot.
There you go.
That's not going to fly.
That Shaka Zulu reboot, that deal fell through. Shaka Zulu, scratch that out. Caesar. But
you put it excellently, Mike. You said, what did you say? You said something like he was trying to make statements and it just wasn't working. Trying too hard to make statements. You said something that summed it up.
Yeah, the last third of the movie, he probably didn't finish the slave script, so he was like, oh shit, I was gonna do this Trump thing. Put that in the wall. Shit, this knockoff Lord of the Rings movie battle scene.
Wow.
Avalanche takes out I was like, an avalanche? That's so ridiculous. And then like the apes are just running from get up on the trees. What? Why don't they just call this movie Avalanche or Snowmageddon then?
Dang.
Point,
but here's
man.
my thing, like, how far did those monkeys go? Because I'm assuming, because this takes place, where did this take place? The last time I remember, this was in the second movie, the first and second movie, they were in San Francisco.
That's right.
So where the was all this snow coming from? Did I miss something?
We all missed something.
And then they walk across. They walk for what? I don't know how long it was. And now they're in the forest, in the mountains. Like what? Where are we?
Wouldn't you have thought that? To me, if it was gonna be War of the Planet of the Apes, you would have like the iconic battle in some sort of like iconic sort of message to the people. Like, oh, this is taking place in New York, or you know what I mean, or something that we can say, oh, this is the rundown this is, you know what I mean? Like if you had it in a landmark type of place that we can, like the other movies, like they kind of showed you Statue of Liberty and different things. I just thought
Well,
this is just in the forest. Like they don't even, this doesn't,
and see,
you don't even have no frame of like where the rest of society is or how long, you know what I mean? Like it just would have
you're
been to
right.
me better to throw something like that in.
See, I agree with you. If you're going to go this route and you're going to introduce this virus thing to explain part of the plot, that's what made the second movie so interesting to me. Even though we've seen viruses in humanity numerous times, it is a source of drama, right? How do you survive? And you've got these apes breathing down your neck too. That's what I liked about the second one. What little I liked about the second one. This one, you're absolutely right. We don't know. Okay, what's the state of humanity now? Is it just these two military factions? Where
Right.
where are the children and the wives and the guy? Where was Gary Oldman? How, I mean, because this only took place 15 years after the last movie, I believe. Because they had the
Hmm.
credits come, the text come up. So I'm like, yeah, where was everyone else? And there was no spatial parameters. Like, are we in San Francisco? Are we in the Andes? Where the are we? Where is
Yeah.
everybody? You know.
Yeah. So I'm done with them. Hopefully they say this is the last one. I somehow doubt that. I assume this movie is going to be very successful.
Oh,
Uh,
good. It's not gonna be the last one.
yeah. So,
And
I, I,
Mike, I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say they might as well just they got a virus situation. They just tie this into like zombies. Like the next one, they just have like the rest of the humans turn into zombies versus the apes. That would be a cold ass mashup. The Walking Dead, Planet of the Apes,
Well, it's
maybe.
funny that when Caesar had his vision of Koba,
This
that
nigga he was dreaming about that.
that motherfucker looked like a zombie. Is this a zombie? We going
Yeah,
zombies now? But
he was dreaming of Koba because Koba was in his dreams. Like you don't up. You know you.
and you let the soldiers go at what time? What was the time again? Oh, you don't up, right? You up, right? You let the soldiers go. No,
Uh,
okay. But
this is a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm hearing and like on Double Toasted, I heard them say this, and your man Captain Kirk on the Afternoon Show, he said he saw this in other reviews. People are saying, these people are saying that this is the best trilogy ever, and I'm like, y'all need to fall back.
That's. I respect everyone's opinion, but that's kind of ludicrous. Like, come.
I mean,
Even if you just pull some more recent, like that's better than like Batman Begins and all that kind of stuff. Like
the Lord of the Rings, the
Lord of
original Star Wars
the,
trilogy.
Indiana Jones.
I mean,
Come on, man.
I don't know what they're talking about because I've
I don't
not
even
seen it.
think one movie in this whole trilogy is not a classic movie to me. None of these movies are like classic, like a
No,
standalone.
no.
It's, whatever.
And see,
People be just caught up in the hype, man. That's all.
I respect the fact. Well, I will say this, and I will admit that this is part of my issue, which why I don't like these movies. My expectations. Okay, I would say this is a great reimagining of what it would be like in the real world if apes were to gain intelligence and they were to spread a virus.
Mm.
As opposed to in the original movies, you had apes walking strictly upright, wearing leather clothes, like in the Tim what's his name in the
Tim
remake,
Burton.
Tim Burton remake.
Hmm.
Okay, this trilogy is a good reimagining, but then the problem you have is when you stick Planet of the Apes on it. It's not Planet of the Apes. It's basically apes in a forest. That's all it is.
That's true. That's true.
Whereas
Yeah.
the original ones, it was a Planet of the Apes. And the other thing now, and I'll shut up. The other movies, they didn't take themselves so seriously. They had fun. I mean, it was Charlton Heston getting his ass whooped and all that, but and there was drama in it, but it didn't take itself so. This movie, like you said again, it wanted to be this huge treatise. I get a feeling on society, and it was so deadly serious to the point that it was almost depressing. It was like watching The Road almost.
Hmm.
And it's apes, dude. It's apes. Come on. So I mean, if you call this something like Monkey Business Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, so
Monkey.
you know what I'm saying? Maybe not that, but don't give it the title Planet of the Apes, because like you said, that is a classic property. This was just, it wasn't Planet of the Apes. It was these apes just fighting humans in a forest. The scope wasn't as big as the original movies. Does that make
Right.
sense?
No, I totally understand it. And it's just like one of these things we've talked about this with remakes before. They're gonna grab the popular, they call it IP, I can't even say the word, intellectual property
Right.
that people will recognize. Oh, Planet of the Apes is an expectation. If the movie isn't exactly that, it doesn't matter. Slap that on there, put it out there. So, like I said, because of technology, these movies are very well done.
Oh yeah.
But there you go. Not a fan of this last one at all.
It could have
Disappointed.
been a good movie, but like you said, I don't care what anybody says. Marketing plays a valuable role. If you market something to me and you get me thinking one thing, and you show me something else, it's going to affect my reaction to your property.
I agree. I agree. All right. Well, there we go. I want to move off of that quickly and jump into a few other things before we wrap up. um, let's see. I will say that there is a new Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This behind the scenes video
Oh yeah, I
that
saw
was
that. Yeah.
that was released. Definitely go check that out. They don't have to sell me on these movies at all. Like I'm already gonna go, but it's just cool to see glimpses of different things. I'm saying now this show is dated because this happened just after I think it's called D23 event that Disney
Right.
had, and then Comic-Con I believe is this weekend coming up. So there's a lot of things. But one of the other big things I want to talk about quickly is the Avengers Infinity War. Marvel did I guess, a presentation at this D23, and they brought most of the cast, if not all of the cast, of the Avengers movie that is shooting now. Actually, I think the Infinity War is just wrapping, if not just wrap principal shooting, and they're actually gearing up to shoot the next one. But they released a teaser trailer at this event. The trailer has not been released online yet, but I wanted to just read some of the synopsis, a little bit of what we see in this trailer, and get the opinion. Let's say the trailer starts essentially with the Guardians of the Galaxy flying through space, and something like hits their windshield of their ship, and that something is Thor's body. And so they grab Thor and bring him inside the ship. He is brought back to life or to consciousness, and he's like, who are you guys, and who the hell are you, type of thing. And then they said cuts to Scarlet Witch. She seems seems to cut to cutting a car in half, a flaming car in half. And it looks like Vision might be trapped nearby. Something bad's happening. Then I guess we hear Thanos. I think they show him, says death follows him like a shadow. And then it says it cuts to Loki cutting through a flaming wreckage to grab the Tesseract, which holds one of the Infinity Stones. It says next it goes to Peter Parker. He's on a school bus. And it says that the hairs on his arms start to stand up, sort of giving us a signal that he does have spider sense. So he senses something is wrong. Then he says, somebody says he comes to us as some alien ship crash lands on a wrecked Earth. A worried Mantis stands with Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, the Hulk, and the other heroes as the aircrafts approach. And it says, I guess this is Thanos. He says, this does put a smile on my face as Gamora takes in the wreckage of the room kept by the Collector. What's his name? Del Toro?
Del
Del
Toro,
Toro.
Benicio del Toro.
So that shows more Infinity Stones are pillaged. And that's when Thanos walks through a portal onto Earth, big and hulking and boasting a eating grin. Star-Lord and Doctor Strange leap into action, harnessing magic and airborne stepping stones. Even Spider-Man swings into action wearing a cool new suit. They're speculating it was the suit that they show at the end of Homecoming that Tony Stark was trying to give him. And it says we briefly see Black Widow, who's blonde, and Captain America,
Blonde.
it says she's blonde, and Captain America is wearing a beard.
Oh, they're in disguise, I guess. Wow.
Either in disguise or maybe there's, I don't know how much time has passed. I don't know what's going on with those characters. It says, I know the fate of the universe is at stake, but don't we all feel a little refreshed after seeing valuable time and undercover makeup? Oh, I guess maybe they are undercover. It says in the final moments, things get truly heated. Thanos grabs Thor's head in
What?
his meaty paw and regards it like a grape he's about to smash. Maybe he saw the scary black and white episode of this guy's trying to do jokes. Thanos says you can run from it, but your destiny still arrives. And then he holds up one hand and seemingly destroys a planet far away in the sky. And then he has the scene is taking place on Earth. Our freaking moon is cut in half or something, and he seems to be throwing the pieces of that planet to the Avengers or something.
Huh?
Yeah, it's just
How
some
the
wild
Avengers
stuff.
gonna fight that?
That is a very good question. So I can't wait to see this trailer. This definitely seems they are ramping things up to a whole other level with these movies, and this is gonna be a head buster, man, from just the description.
Wow. See, I'm still not that familiar with Thanos' power set and what his. I mean, I know of him, but I didn't read books with him in it, and so I'm not that familiar with the character. It sounds like he's kind of like Apocalypse, where his powers aren't really defined. He can just do whatever he needs to do for the sake of the story.
Yeah, and I think he has, he has that Infinity Gauntlet in his hand. So when he's able to destroy a moon, that's because he's got that.
Okay. All right. Right.
Some other things here I sort of missed. It shows the Winter Soldier and Black Panther are leading armies, which is very interesting. There's a shot of Spider-Man in the Stark suit. We said that already. Ship designs that Thanos rolls in is amazing, huge, devastating. Lands to battle Avengers. World looks brutal. Great shot of Thanos flexing the Infinity Gauntlet, missing some stones. Captain America with the beard outfit looks dark and sleek. So, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Scared shot of Tony Stark sticking in my head. Great feeling of terror that Thanos likely caused. Dope shot of Black Panther with the Wakandan army, arms crossed like an X, claws out.
Now, has Thanos ever fought the Avengers in the books?
I mean, as far as I know, there's the Infinity Gauntlet story, so he's sort of fighting everybody, but the Avengers are included in that, of course.
Now that's the one I think I read that. That's the one where it takes all the action takes place on on a plane up in outer space, right?
Yeah, and I guess they show that some of that in the trailer, and some of the behind the scenes stuff that's been sort of revealed. You can see that there is all a total green area, and it's sort of like they're in some space place. I don't know how they deal with atmosphere and oxygen, but so I don't know. But
well,
there we go.
I'm glad they made this 2 movies because the cast you just went through in that, no way they're gonna get that done in 2.5 hours even.
Yeah, that's gonna be quite the achievement. They when they pull this off, this will be a game changer to me because it's a lot of going on, a lot of characters.
The Russos, right? The Russos are doing it.
This is the Russos, yeah.
Okay, I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, so Hopefully, they will release this trailer after Comic-Con. Uh, Otherwise, they said it would have to wait till November when Thor comes out. But
Wow.
they need to get on,
Now
put this out.
is Ant-Man in the movie too?
Yeah, he is actually. There was some, yeah, because I think the guy hurt himself during the filming of this or something. I remember we were talking about that offline or something.
What's he gonna do? Crawl up in Thanos' ass and give him indigestion or something? I
Hell,
don't.
here you
What's
go.
he? What's he gonna do?
Hey man, he's Ant-Man. He turned
Okay,
into a giant.
that's
Turned
true.
into a giant. All right. Wrap this up unless you got anything else.
So the next movie to look forward to, which one is that? This year.
Uh,
Anything coming out
well,
this year? Oh,
I
Thor.
well, yeah. Actually, I'm looking forward to that movie that's coming out next week. It's by the guy who did Fifth Element,
Oh, Valerian.
Valerian. It just looks
Uh,
fantastic. So I have to see it on that. I know some people say, "Oh, it look like it's gonna be Jupiter ascending." No, I've seen a couple reviews on it, and they say it's not terrible. They're like, not the best movie in the world, but it's certainly, it's probably on the level of Fifth Element, which I kind of enjoy that movie a little bit.
yeah.
Well, I said I'll be at that movie. Better or worse, I'm going. They got my money. Just I have to see it. It's one of those for me.
If I got nothing better to do, or if it comes out to glowing reviews, I'll go see it. But I think I'm looking forward to American Made. That's the one with Tom Cruise. He's in another dramatic. Well, it looks like it might be a dramatic role as opposed to a throwaway action role. He plays I think he plays a DEA agent who goes undercover.
Oh, okay. I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah, yeah. But I can't think of. I guess Thor is the next superhero movie, right? Comic book movie.
I believe so. Yeah, November. There's a trailer they showed. This movie is from the guys who did Independence Day. It
Oh
looks so
Lord,
cheesy. Did you see it? Yeah, was it like some sort of
Geostorm.
Geostorm? I
I'm
laughed
like,
when I saw the trailer.
is this a sequel to 2012? I mean, what is this guy? He knows how to put some animators to work, don't he?
Hey, I kind of respect it. I was like, well, it just looks like it's so ridiculous. It looked like it was something that came out in the 90s or something, just so out there and ridiculous. But I was like, I give him credit for actually wanting to put some out like that. I don't know if it's gonna work, but
But it's the same thing. We saw it in San Andreas. We saw it in Independence Day. We saw it in
yeah,
2012. We saw it in The Day After Tomorrow. Why he's doing it again? This guy's.
that's his style, man. That's his style.
But he literally has no ideas. Okay,
He just likes to do big, crazy.
how many different ways can you destroy the planet? I mean,
Hey, he's got some ideas. Geostorm.
damn. Now when is Detroit coming out? I'm kind of looking forward to that.
I don't know. Oh, well, actually, I do know. August the 4th.
August the 4th.
I guess that comes out the same day as the Dark Tower. So,
Well, we know which one I'm. Okay, well, damn. That's a tough one. Which one I'm gonna see first? But I'm gonna say on the show. I'm not sure what the name of this show is. I guess it's the Michael Dean Show.
Mhm.
Hopefully, in correspondence with Q's reviews. But I am going to, and Ant, if you're listening, fine, get at me. I'm man enough to take the L. Ava DuVernay, I tip my hat to your sister. And I apologize for doubting you, because my whole thing was when she was going to be directing the Black Panther, I was like, she did Selma. Selma was a great film, but I can't imagine she can come from that and do a effects-laden movie. And then I saw that trailer for Wrinkle in Time. I bow down to you, because that looks amazing. And she got Oprah Winfrey acting again. Okay, I'm good. You can direct whatever you want.
Okay.
It just better be good. It got to be good. But I'm
Right.
impressed by what I've seen.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting trailer for sure. Some definitely visuals we haven't seen before on that level. I know the big movie that comes out next week. Actually, I want to see this movie. Is the Christopher Nolan movie, Dunkirk.
You want to see that?
I do, man. When I went to see, I think it was Kong or something, and I went and I saw that like at a real IMAX theater,
Right.
like the super giant kind, and they showed, I don't know, it was like a 5 or 10 minute thing for Dunkirk, and there were scenes that were shot in real, they were shot with IMAX cameras.
Uh-huh.
I, I didn't know what the movie was about at first. But it was some of the most thrilling stuff I had seen in a minute, man. Like it, and it looked fantastic. It was like some air battle with what's the guy who plays Bane? I can't think of Tom
Tom
Hardy.
Hardy.
Tom Hardy and some other dude, and oh man, it looked fantastic. I was like, oh, and then it just cut off. And I was like, oh, what is this? I got to see this movie.
It's
It looks amazing, man.
it's so funny. I mean, it's basically a period piece. It's a historical piece,
Yeah.
and I respect that. But it's amazing how fanboys are talking about this movie like it's a comic book movie. I'm hearing a lot of people say, "I gotta go see Dunkirk. Gotta go see Dunkirk." I'm like, I respect that, but I'm just curious. Why?
Oh,
Okay.
it was so thrilling, the battle scenes, the air battle, and I don't know, just the way it's his style. He knows how to like make things real tense
Mm-hmm.
and sort of edge of your seat, and that's the way it was playing. I was like, this is dope, man, and it looked incredible because it would sort of shift between regular film stuff, and then it would go into that full IMAX. And I was like, I have to see this in this. I have to see the whole movie. Like this is amazing. Like I don't like everything Christopher Nolan has done,
Uh-huh.
but he definitely has skills. Like because I'm not interested. I wasn't so interested in the subject matter because like he was a period piece, but this is play like fantastic, badass action, air battle. I was like, this. I gotta see this. This crazy. So
Well,
yeah, I check that out next week, along with Valerium, and I guess another movie that you can, it's a black movie if you want to support it. I would say the movie currently sitting at 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I guess it is the movie Girls Trip,
wow.
starring Jada Pinkett Smith and Queen Latifah.
Well, I don't know if you know. Maybe you might be familiar with him through Afro Nerd Radio. That's the only reason I'm familiar with him. But Sergio Mims of Shadow and Act. You know
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know.
He was saying he thinks that's going to do big box office. He thinks it's because it's kind of the answer to Scarlett Johansson's last film, which flopped, Rough Night, which is basically kind of the same plot.
Oh, okay, I'm not familiar with it.
She goes out on the town with her girlfriends, I believe. But yeah, 92%, really?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Now that's with 12 reviews, but it's only
Okay.
one. With only one rotten. To me, it looked, and I remember a few months ago, I seen the trailer for some movie, and it was a Red Band trailer. So they were cussing and talking mad crazy. But it looks like to me just a black version of the sort of girls' night out movies that have been sort of popular, those comedies, real
Oh,
raunchy type of
Bad
movies.
Mom or something. What was that?
Those types of movies. It looked like this is. I was like, oh, okay, this is it's got some sisters in it. They're going to the Essence Festival. Literally, that's what the story is. And they out there. They're about to get lit, and they turned up. So
Right.
that's all. And it's all sexual type stuff. So it probably would be very. Actually, thinking about it, it's Jada, it's Queen Latifah, Regina Hall.
She's from the scary movie. Is it Scary Movie she's in?
Oh, she's had a lot of movies actually.
And there's a fourth. I can't remember her name though.
Somebody named Tiffany Haddish. I don't know who that is. And Lorenz Tate is in this. But yeah, it probably will be.
Lorenz Tate
Well,
is in this.
he's got a part. Yeah, he's listening here. Now again, this would probably be one of those movies that there's going to be a void for this because obviously the big movie is going to be Dunkirk. And then you got a sci-fi movie, so there'll be some audience for this, I'm sure.
It sounds like a good date movie to take the wife to.
There you go. There you go. All right, man. We got to wrap this up and get up out of here. But yeah, if you've seen this movie, War for the Planet of the Apes, what did you think about it? Was it good? Did you think it was good, or where we were reaching. Now again, we see it through our lens. You know, this is how I see it. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get up out of here. But in the words of one of the monkeys in the movie,
Wow. Give us free.
There you go.